achieve success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Yay! Yay! Paulette is back. That's an important thing. How you doing, Paulette?
I'm doing all right, thank you. Yeah, voice is fairly strong, so we're all right today. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, very nice to be back. Thank you.
Are you back to your normal self? Do you feel perfect, or are you still suffering a bit?
I'd say 75%. But you know what? I wasn't going to wait any longer.
Yeah, 75%. That's more than enough, right? The last time you came back at 10%, I think.
I think that was the problem. Coming back at 10% and then going straight down with the next one. But never mind.
That's no good whatsoever. That's no good at all. No, you're back, and I'm chuffed you're back. Looking rosy, and sounding rosy too. So the one thing you've missed is people who send dumb messages.
Talking about my cheeks are warm. Stop it.
Oh wow! Look,
I'm flustered, people. I'm flustered.
No, the only worst thing you've been flustered is me blushing. You know, when I go red, that's a job, right? And it happens at times. Today is your day, Paulette. Anyway, you haven't missed people who send dumb messages on here and still just annoy me. But so one got told this morning, stop messaging me. This is the last message you're gonna get from me. You have nothing for me. You're wasting my time. Stop messaging me. Yeah. I'm just being honest. This numpty sending me. It all sends me questions about authors. I'm like, you have nothing to do with authors. You haven't written a book. You can't help me. I don't know who you are. What the hell do you want? That's my last message. Today it was just like, no, stop doing it. You are literally annoying me beyond annoyance. So I'm not even gonna go there. If you can start working on those Paulette, I'll be really happy.
Yeah, you just send them my way.
Yeah.
They soon get sick of me. I kill them with kindness, you know that.
It was I talking to the other day, and they're like, how do we do with these people? I'm like, you send them to Paulette, that's what I do. Send them to Paulette. It always works. It always works. Let's welcome our friends. Coach, welcome. Glad you're here. So we've got Coach next event on Friday. We're going to talk about your prophecy. So do join us. Come and discover how to find out what your prophecy is.
Kimberly.
Your unique gift. Kim, welcome. Coach K. Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, if I haven't caught you, if you want a link to join the studio, Coach K, feel free, because you work with kids. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on our topic today. Now, Paulette, you have to tell them what it's all about, don't you? And I'll be private.
Right. I'm going to shut up. See, he's really missed me. He's missed me so much.
This was my first show today. No show yesterday.
I'm teasing.
Natalie, welcome. Omar, we'll see you. I almost invited me on this next show, Paulette. Even though he knows I'm terrible at game shows. But Paulette came second, by the way, in this last game. So she's a genius at the relevant facts of this world. I'm not jealous at all, right? I'm just saying.
Except about Las Vegas or anything about America, I was pretty rubbish. I know the presidents, that's all. And who's on the book.
You know more than me. That's the important thing, right? You know more than me. So Natalie again. Linda, welcome. I haven't seen you, but I'm glad you're here. Michelle's in the studio as well. Excellent. Got a good lot of people in the studio.
Bless you.
Welcome, Marsha. Deborah, welcome as well. We did talk about who our friends are, and I think you two were certainly mentioned. Sharon, we see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
CJ, glad you're here.
Thank you, CJ.
Is that missed? Lydia? If I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, Lydia. Yeah, Lydia's lovely. Yeah.
Excellent. Welcome to Michael. I see you as well. Thank you all so much. Let me stop
Habar
talking.
Gandhi.
I talk way too much for that, so I'm going to let you speak. Go for it.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you all very much for being here. I'm quite anxious, which is quite interesting, as I do talk about anxious and anxiety all the time, but it's really about coming back and facing your fears. Having not been around for 3 weeks, it doesn't seem like very long to you guys, but when you've been poorly, it feels like the world, like days seem like weeks. So I really have been, very, very poorly. And it's not about me and it's not about being ill, it's about fighting to get better. And I would say to everybody, um, find your reason, and once you know your reason, it's easy. So, Ben's just in the middle of doing his last piece of term work, and then we have him home for 5 weeks, which I'm really looking forward to. Um, he's refusing to help me on tech support anymore because he's been up to his neck in his own work and videos and things. Um, but having put the phone, the iPad, the everything away, it's really, really hard to say that you don't wanna even look at the screen. You don't want to see what you can't get engaged with because you just aren't well enough. And I think that's been the hardest part for me, has been not wanting to engage with anybody. So please don't take things personally. If I haven't responded to messages, it's been because I've just not been well. Um, and the most important thing about anxiety, and I can tell you that from being here now, is that it's about you feeling in some way or shape or form not good enough. And will they still like me? Will they still want me? Will they still remember me? Will they care what I've got to say? And, my voice isn't as strong as it was. If I was an opera singer, I'd be retired. Um, so the point is really, it's great to be back, and I hope I bring some value. And today we're talking about children, which are my favorite thing in the world to talk about. And um, because of I like children so much, there are 3 books produced that we have now covered, from the bereavement story of a child who's dealing with the grandmother explaining for the first time what it's like to lose somebody. And that's when she talks to Jack about the death of her husband, his granddad, that he never knew. Then they all have to move house because the house isn't big enough for grandma, really, and all her stuff. And he always asks, "Where did this come from? Where did that come from?" And they always say, "It came with grandma." So it's a bit of a joke within the book. And then the latest book was New School Niggles. And it's not really just about niggles and new school, it's about anything to do with anxiety. So whether it's anxious about starting school, anxious about a new classroom, anxious about a new teacher, anxious about literally moving house and changing schools, whatever the transition is, we all find that very hard. And I always try to say to parents when we talk about therapy, put yourself in the position of the child. When you start your first day at your new job, how do you feel? You don't walk in cocky with your, shoulders back, look at me. You walk in with sort of bit, wanting to be seen but not heard, and quiet. And, you've got days and days to build relationships. But on that first day, that first impression, you've only got one chance and you want to do it right. And so I think the part of this that's so important to me is to say to you that every time we think about, and the topic today is reading, think about how much pleasure you get out of reading. whether it's if you're religious and you read the Bible, or whether it's your favorite author or your favorite cartoon book or manga or whatever you're into, how much pleasure you get from reading. Whether you don't pick a book up, but you read on Kindle or you read on Amazon or you read on your phone or your iPad or your laptop, you're still reading and you're still taking in information, and that information becomes of benefit to you. Now, if you're talking about academic information, of course, that has a value. Absolutely. But if we take away the academics and we talk about entertainment, books can be the most entertainment because it leaves so much to your imagination. Your mind is taken into each character, and you have to decide on what they feel like, what they look like, by how the author has described them. That is so important, right? That is so important that we're able to take those words off a page, take them into our mind, and make a picture. And that's stories. Storytelling and the ability to get somebody to do that is unbelievable. And when you start to write adult literature, then you're way ahead of me. I'm written a few bits in and some anthologies, and I'm very proud of those bits of work. And there's a new one coming out, which I can't wait for it to hit the pages because it's very personal. But the reason I mention this is because if we don't teach our children how to read, they'll never get the glory that we're receiving now ourselves. So, what I'm trying to say to everybody is let's take that time to help your child, children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, friends of children to read. And if you remember, the first books that a child gets given are picture books. And you're asking the child, what do you see? There's a bird, or there's a dog, or there's a cat, or there's, and you start to make a story up. So here's the dog, and there's the lead, and there's the little girl. And why is the little girl crying? Could it be because the dog is fallen off the lead and she can't catch the dog? Oh, that would be a terrible story. But it got the child thinking, and it's like looking around. It's okay. There's a man over in the corner. Maybe he'll help her. And that's how you start to engage children in storytelling from picture books. No words, just pictures. So from pictures, we go to the very basics, the Jack and Jill, or Jack and John, or Janet and whatever it was when they were all at school. They've all changed now. But I can remember reading and, getting words right and being really praised by parents for being able to get those words right and, and start to learn to read. And we had words written all around the room. And my father used to get stencils and put words around the room and numbers, and he loved to educate us with pictures. And so before my mum and dad broke up, I remember my dad being the key educator. He used to really, really instill in us times tables. Like, I knew my 13 times table. Most kids couldn't do their fours, but it was important to him. He was only home for 3 months a year. So he wanted to make sure the legacy of him being home for that short period of time was that when he phoned us up and said 7 fours, 8 nines, we could go bang, 63, 72, 84, whatever it was. And he'd be like, okay, you need to work harder. You got there too easy. And they were the conversations. We'd have 2 minutes each. And that would be what he'd ask us. How's your reading? What have you read? What books are you reading? It would be that was his engagement. His engagement was about, what are you doing? And I don't think that was wrong, because that was his way of loving me. He's trying to help me become better at something and see the pleasure in getting it right when it was the sums and reading and understanding the written word. I believe that is what every single person who is involved with children should try to do, because the pleasure you're going to give those children is for the rest of their lives. You could potentially say it's the biggest gift of all. Braille, which was brought in so that blind people could learn to read, was the biggest gift to them, because it meant that they could actually now do what everybody else could do, which was read the books they wanted to read. Can you think of anything kinder? So therefore, if somebody who is blind and learns to read with Braille, how important is it that we teach the easy way, which is with language, with letters, with phonics? So today, I'm not beating anybody up. I'm not telling you you're good, you're bad, indifferent. I'm saying the sooner you put the rubber book or the plastic book in the bath and they're looking at the pictures of the ducks and the dogs and making noises of the animals, the sooner they are actually engaging with you from the book. And then from there, you go to the picture books. And from the picture books, you go to the cloth books. From the cloth books, you go to the actual books. And it's all this transition of learning. And all I ask is that we give every opportunity to do that. Because without reading, you lose out on learning. You lose out on laughter, the jokes, the funny books that I've read, the stories I've laughed at one breath and cried at the next, and they're the kind of chick flick books that I love. But, everyone laughs at me for it, but it's escapism, a bit of romance, a bit of sex, and a bit of, well, hey, here we go. We all break up and we all end up killing each other. Those sorts of books to me are hilarious, because if you read the first page and the last page, you can pretty much guess what's going to happen. Will I pay for them every day? Right? Because it's what I enjoy. It's an escape route to everything else in my life, and I enjoy it. And I will take a book on holiday and I'll take 3 with me, 4 with me, and I'll be through them within 3 or 4 days. But then when I get home, they'll be handed out to the next person who's going on holiday, until they come back and the pages stink of all the different sun creams and lotions and potions. But that's the gift of reading and sharing. So I am asking you to think about what we get from it, and then take it all the way back to children and how they will benefit by everything we're getting if we help them do it at as young an age as possible. Ben could read at 4. Now, I know he's exceptional in some things and it has other issues in different areas, but he could read at 4. And we had a conversation with a friend of ours, dad, a friend of ours. Well, he was a friend of ours, but his son had been round for a party and they had a game and they wanted to play it. And the dad was on the floor with all this stuff trying to put it together. And next thing you know, Ben's on the floor next to him with his hands like this lying on the floor. And he's looking at the instructions. He said, "No, that's not right. Look, fig 2, it says that bit has to go there." And this guy sort of went, "What did you just say?" He said, "Look, the picture there, that bit's in the wrong place. And then if we do this bit next, and then next thing you know is they built it together." And when he brought him home, he took Charles to one side and said, "I think you might have a genius." And Charles said, "Why? Why? What's happened?" He said, "He helped me build this Meccano thing and I couldn't work it. It was a marble run." He said, "He helped me build this marble run. It was driving me nuts." He said, "He got on the floor and he's reading fig 1, fig 2 and telling me what to do." He said, "He's a genius." And Charles said he's not a genius. What he is a kid that can read. That's it. He could read the figs, so therefore he could educate in what he was seeing. So that's why I'm saying reading is important. He knew the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. He followed the numbers and he knew fig. We always told him that's where you start. He'd be on the floor with Charles with a build a cupboard, and it would show him how it worked. So what I would like to know today from the people that we've got in the rooms is, what did you do to help your child read? How do you get children to do, and grandchildren especially, how did you get them involved in books? How do you get people when there's so much gadgetry around and 3D and 4D and all these different colors and games, and how do we compete with that with books? That's the question I'm posing. How do we get children to love reading? So I would absolutely love to hear your comments, your thoughts on, really, how does it work? Come talk to me. Come and show me. And to answer everybody's questions, and try and understand how we all do it differently. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. As long as they're learning, that's all that matters. Thank you. Back to you, Annie. Annie, are you there? Annie, come back. All is forgiven.
Okay, there's only you on stage.
You may have left me.
No, I'm still here. I'm still here. Of course, I'm still here.
You
So
left me.
I didn't leave. I left you for a couple of minutes and I had to restart my computer. Yes, but no one even noticed apart from you and Dr. Leslie Flowers, who realized I wasn't here. Leslie says, "Why are you ignoring her? You haven't said hello. She's on screen, Paulette. I can't take her off until you say hello."
Do you know something? I was focusing so much on myself. I've been so absorbed in this circle. I apologize, Leslie. I haven't ignored you. And it says, Leslie Flowers, you've missed me. Yes, I've missed you, and you've missed me, apparently. I think that's what it means. Yes.
Yeah. Andre,
and
glad
Natalie
you're
says,
here. That's right, Andre. Yeah, Andre, glad you're here. There's a few people.
Hi, Andre.
Adrienne, welcome.
Adrienne, hi.
Jay's here as well.
Yay.
Yeah, storytelling strategist. You know, it's moved his show to Mondays now, Paulette. I don't know what time on Mondays, but
Has it?
Yeah, Jay and Friends are normally on Saturdays to Monday. Anyway, so it's
his new job, yeah.
Excellent. You were anxious, Jay. You're Mr. Confident. I'm joking. I'm sure that the first day went well. Just know you are here, so should I appreciate that? What does Jay say? As adults, anxieties will never go away, but we can learn to cope with it. Exactly that.
That's right. Strategies.
That's that case as well, right? They've got many speakers here today. My friends, let's try and protect Paulette's voice and Paulette's well-being. It means let's keep this show
Please.
short. Let's keep it short. That means let's focus on our comments. Now, 2 minutes, thereabouts, so I can bring the next person up. Otherwise, we're here all day. Let's try not to be here all day. Let's go for it, Paulette. And as I got many friends here to share. Michelle, feel free. Welcome on stage. Joni, Coach, got Coach K as well, and I got Michelle.
Hey, you guys, we are here to play. I think Paulette's right. How do we get kids to read again? And I just pick up a book and start reading to them. And when you're spending time with your child and you're reading them a book, they're like, oh my gosh, mom, dad, grandma's not like on their phone, their laptop, their Kindle. they want to hang out with me, and they're going to keep that with them, and they're going to grow with it, and then they're going to use it with their own kids, because there is so much technology out there right now, which is fine. I'm not saying that we do need it. My gosh, for medical, this is going to, for people like me, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get zapped or use some infrared. But when it comes to reading, honestly, if we just pick up a book and start reading to them and let them snuggle up to you. Most of our kids, remember that smell we could smell from our babies, just that, oh, you wanted to bottle it up. They still smell that way, you guys, and just a little different odor. And pick up that book and just start reading to them, and they'll cuddle right up to you, because it's just, they do. I do it with the book. Anyone does it. It's a learned behavior from all of us. But if we don't keep it as a learned behavior, the next learned behavior is like what I used to do when I had Facebook 6 years ago. I didn't even get out of bed before I was like, oh, I got to see what kind of, excuse my language, what kind of fuckery's going on in the world today, because we were in lockdown. And that's when I was just like, oh my gosh, I just used the F word, and I had to get away from all that. So with technology is fine, but let's put it down and keep learning behavior going with our kids, and just spend some time with them. They're not going to bite you, and it's all right. Maybe you'll learn how to read too, or speak. I haven't explained how much it teaches you yourself to be able to speak. I'm dyslexic. If I didn't read to my kids when they were younger, I wouldn't be able to talk to you guys now, because you got to keep that therapy going, even from special ed. And you can't just drop it. I don't care what anyone says. There's no special pill. So just keep doing it, and you're going to find out you're going to like yourself a lot too, because they're pretty cool stories, and you're going to be able to relate to them even as an adult, and figure out even how to talk to your children as they get older, because you can't talk to a child unless you understand the child. And remember what it feels like to be a child. Remember what it feels like to be bullied. So just pick it up and keep doing that learned behavior in your own head, or you yourself will forget it and just turn dumb. And then what are you going to do with your kids? Then we just got a whole bunch of dumb kids and people running around. Let's not do that, all right? You know, we've got the technology. You got a brain. You got a mouth. If I can do it, you all can do it. And that's all I got to say. And I love you guys.
Spot on, Michelle. Spot on. It is learned behavior, and we must continue it. We absolutely must. And we just need to put the gadgets down, pick up a piece of, paper in our hand, and just to start them off, picking the books up, whether it's the material ones or the plastic ones, the ones that go in the baths, whatever it is, whether we're making noises of animals to start with. This is all what you do with engagement. It's all about engagement. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Lydia says, reading is one of the most essential habits we can build during childhood. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. I agree. 2,000,000%.
Honestly, Paulette, kids don't learn how to be verbal unless you do teach them to read. Has anyone ever thought about that?
Absolutely true.
A child does not learn how to get words out of their mouth and learn to be verbal unless they read and hear you do it. Again, learned behavior. It's just like a child when you want dad or mama, you got to keep saying it to them, and all of a sudden they start speaking that. Usually it's dad first, because it's easier for them to say with their mouth. It has nothing to do against moms or dads. Dad's just easier to say neurologically. And we need to keep that neurologically going in our children and keep them speaking. Or, they've got Braille, but we don't need to be mute. So,
Absolutely not. And also on that note, I have a nephew, and at 8 months old, he was doing this, and I kept looking at him. What does he want? What does he want? And my sister-in-law said, that's the sign for milk. He wants milk. I was like, oh, okay. So I got some milk and put it in a bottle, and is that okay? They were like, yeah. But that's how they're teaching them at nursery, and they're teaching them sign language because they believe that the reason that they have the terrible twos is partly frustration of not being able to communicate, language difficulties. So it's so important, not just for it's to give the child the chance to communicate with you at a very young age, but also so that it stops them getting angry and frustrated and crying and miserable. It's because they're trying to tell you something, you know, and that apparently is give me milk or something very similar anyway. But that's what he was doing to me, and that's what I got, that I was told it was, and I could give him what he wanted. So that's communication, right? Hello, Margaret. Lovely to see you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm looking at the messages now. Who have we got next? Bonavito.
Oh, come
Hello,
on. We're all
Cyrus.
adults here. Come on. Let's hear your story.
Where's he gone?
Hi everyone.
It's
Can you hear me, Paula?
Tony. No. Oh, yeah. Cyrus, we can hear you. Go for it.
Hi. It's a pleasure to be here. It's such a fascinating subject, Paula. And before we start, I just want to say it's lovely to have you back, and I'm really glad you're feeling much better than before. And even though you sounded funny when you couldn't speak, and, so we had our fun. So regarding sitting down and teaching your child how to read, or sharing a book with the child, there are a lot more benefits than just getting them to read or learn to read. Basically, they teach you what they like. They teach you what their interests are. They teach you that you can find out what they focus on the most, and then you can find out what they like the most. And they tell you what parts they want, that they like the most, and so you can repeat and focus on. And also, the main point I'm trying to convey here is that there's more stuff for you to learn about your child than there is for you to teach your kid in that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or half an hour session that you have with your child. So they let you know in that limited amount of time what they like, what they dislike, what their dislikes are, what their likes are, what excites them, what bores them, and what the main methods of learning are, and that you can learn a lot about your child when you sit down with them and share a few minutes of mutual learning. They teach you about themselves, and you teach them what is right, what is wrong. And this day and age, one of the luxuries that parents can share with the children is putting their phone to a drawer or something, and then spending half an hour with a child. So I hope that sharing these points helps. And if you want to expand on anything, please let me know, Paul. Thanks for listening.
Well, thank you. The one thing I will say is that when Ben was little, he had this book about a hungry caterpillar, and he loved this book so much. But honestly, it was so tedious for grown-ups. If anyone knows the hungry caterpillar, you know what I mean. And he munches this, and then he munches that, and then he munches the other. Well, I tried to skip a few pages and sort of got a bit further along in the book so I could finish it a bit earlier. And he was like, no. And And I'm like, what do you mean no? No, he's got to eat the strawberry first. Okay, so I'll go back to the strawberry page and then go right back again. So he knew the order of the flipping things he had to eat before he got to the state. And it was like, that's learning. That
It's a
isn't
journey.
just, that's it's a
They love
journey.
the
And he
journey.
knew
Yeah,
that
yeah.
journey.
And you cut it short, and they
He
don't
knew the
appreciate that.
journey. Yeah. And the thing about it is, he was showing me, don't try and cheat me out of 5 minutes, Mum. Whatever it is you're running off to do, I deserve my 5 minutes of reading. And that was a big lesson, right? Don't try and cheat him out of his strawberry. So I wasn't having any of it. So back we went. So absolutely right. Thank you very much. And Tolu, thank you so much. That may be why autistic children throw tantrums too. The inability to communicate. Absolutely, that is a fact. That is 100% fact. Communication is one of the biggest reasons for all that built up anxiety, built up frustration, built up tension. It's because they don't know how to communicate with you. And there's so much work going on, and this learning how to do sign language at such a young age is so clever, because it means that all children, regardless, will communicate. It's a very clever tool. Joni, I believe you are next. Adrienne says, I remember learning to read with Dr. Zeus. Yeah, absolutely. And the little golden books. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I used to be able to recite them. That's how bad I was with Dr. Zeus. Joni, hi, darling. How are you? I believe there's a book coming soon.
You're on mute, number
You're
one.
muted.
You're mute, so we don't want that. There's 2 books coming out, Paulette. Yeah, you know how to write.
Oh,
There's an addiction,
you
right?
know how it is.
Yeah,
It's like buses, isn't it?
The dinosaur book is
just comes like it's a really nice thing to do in the morning for me. So if anyone's looking to write a book, like I think about that like quiet time in the morning before the sun is starting to rise, and it's a good time to write. But you are like speaking my language today. I love reading so much. Like I have 2 rooms in my house covered in books, just fully covered. And I have a 1 children's book library and then a 1 grown-up books library. And I really do think that you don't grow out of it. Like I'm like, Mom, will you read to me? And you don't grow out of it. It is a wonderful gift to give to your children. And it's a wonderful time that you go to spend with your child, exploring, and especially if you guys can be slightly interactive with, words they might not know. So be like, what is this word? And it's, thirsty or whatever. And be like, sound it out. And that has been my joy for sure over raising younger kids. And still, I know a lot of like the historical literature, let's say, like that's on the MLA that my older girls have to read. And so we can have a good conversation about Frankenstein, Mary. So it's like nice to have that foundation. And it's really good to give that to your kids. And I thought for everyone, since I love this so much, my favorite books to read to kindergartners were Frog and Toad. Do you know those? And so I'm going to just read the first page of Spring because it's so silly. And I read this every day for my children who are in elementary school until COVID happened. And so, anyways, we have two funny voices as well. So, Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the front door, and there was no answer. Toad, Toad, Frog shouted. Wake up, it's spring. Blah, said a voice. And from inside the house, Toad, Toad, cried Frog. The sun is shining. The snow is melting. Wake up, I am not here, said the voice. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. Toad, who are you calling? Said Frog. Go away, said the voice from the corner of the room. Toad was lying in the bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. Frog pushed Toad out of bed. He pushed him out of the house onto the front porch. Toad blinked in the bright sun. Help! I could not see anything. We're going to go one more. Don't be silly, said Frog. What you see is the clear, warm light of April. It means we can begin a whole new year together, Toad. Think of it, said Frog. We'll skip through the meadows, we'll run through the woods, and swim over the river. In the evenings, we will sit right here on your front porch and count the stars. You can count them, Frog, said Toad. I will be too tired. I am going back to bed. And that's all. I could share more.
Well, I think we've got a few people in the audience, so we better not. But listen, thank you. I love it, and I love the voices. We used to be going on a bear hunt. I remember going on a bear hunt, and I'm sure you've all done that one. And we're going to go catch a big one, and and I can remember walking into the shopping, and to get him to go shopping with me, I would pretend we were going on a bear hunt into the supermarket, and we'd be talking about what we're going to catch when we get in there. And it was my way of getting him to come shopping with me. And then he'd go, there's no bears in here. And I'd be like, okay, you got me. But they do comics. But that was that I used to use when going on a bear hunt to go shopping. So I tell you what,
But you
terrible
need to do
parent
silly
I am.
voices. Do something silly
Oh,
to get them
absolutely.
engaged. And gosh,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love being
Absolutely
read
do.
to it. I really do. But I
Well,
feel like
the book
mine
launch?
was going
When's
through
it
the
going to
car
be?
wash. My car
When's the
wash.
book launch?
Well, Annie and I have to figure that out.
You gotta give me a chance to
Okay,
publish
well,
a book
keep us
first.
posted. We're looking forward to
Yeah, of
it.
course, I keep you posted. I got to publish a book. You know the process, Paulette. It's a long process, right?
I do.
We're just about chosen.
I just
Options.
said F it to the other publishers who just keep taking my money. And I was like, no. I wish I had known any prior to this.
You did, but you didn't bring me the book. Anyway, listen to everyone. Don't take a chance. Come to any. Yes, that's the idea.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Annie has a lot more, I don't know, social conscience.
Yeah, I do what I promise. I publish a book. That's what I promise you, and that's what you get, right? And
Yeah.
I won't charge you too much unless you create a challenge. But no, it's a process we're going through, Paula, as you know. So we got through the options, and I'm gonna start designing the book, and then we're gonna get on and start doing the drafts of revising and so on and so forth. And then we'll get to our publish day. That's a good thing, right?
We'll figure it out.
We will.
I'm going to hear about children's books more.
Yeah, give us 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
there is nothing wrong with your children starting out their reading journey with kind of like the graphic novels, because that
No.
may be their comfort level, and there is a great amount of graphic novels. And if your child is just getting into sexuality, there's a great amount of books that are talking about that. And so I just wanted to share that.
Hold on. You don't mean
Thank you.
graphic in
Appreciate
terms of
it.
graphic in that sense. You mean graphic.
Doesn't mean like you mean graphic.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No, I mean graphic
Drawings.
novels. No. I
Picture
mean
books.
graphic novels are really good, but no, like pictures. That's what we call them here.
Picture
It-
books, Penny.
Yes.
Like
I'm just saying that people can
like cartoons. I don't know.
Dirty
I have
mind.
so many books that I could recommend. I mean, seriously, I have like a wall full of them. But
Yeah.
also, like, there's so many really great books to like help kids who are just, you know, feeling not themselves. And so I do your research and know they're out there. And so it's the most wonderful thing to read to your kids.
It is. And Jamie's
Thank
book
you.
is
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Eddie, I'm really sorry. I've missed some of the comments. I apologize.
No,
So
don't
I
worry, I'll
don't
go
know
back.
who- Okay.
I'll go back. Natasha, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Natasha's got a show this evening, 6:30.
Ah.
So I'm glad you're here. They're just talking burnout with Andre. I don't know whether I work on Andre earlier. Andre talks burnout. And I did criticize him for his long questionnaire on the sign-up page, but it's like, just do it, and I'm like, if I must. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then Natasha sent me a message saying, just do it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So it's done now.
Oh dear, you are funny.
Don't send
But
on
you know,
questionnaire.
the key thing about a lot of really successful children's books are that they are repeated. So children love the book. They choose the book, and it'll be the same book over and over because it's the book that gives them something. Yeah. So that's really important. So, as much as we want to choose the book, when they go to their little shelf and they pick the book they want, even if it's the same book, that's the reason they've chosen it. It's because it's a favorite. So we've got Abdullah saying greetings from Saudi. Greetings. And Margaret said, love Michelle's great points. Absolutely. Right. Who's next, Denny?
And Paulette, it depends on the child too. It is some, especially boys, they can pick out like a find book, like, you know, like Where's Waldo? And girls may not choose the same thing. So I know me, and then I pass it on to my girls, loved The Secret Garden. We loved Anne Frank. We loved kind of like more of the mystery history. And so that
yeah, I mean, as you get older, as they get to sort of 10, 11, I don't think there is anything that should be off limits. I'm a great believer. If you want to read Macbeth, read Macbeth. If you want to read Shakespeare, read Shakespeare. At the end of the day, if you can be emotionally intelligent enough to understand it and have the academics to read it and understand the words and what their meanings are, and if you get stuck, come and ask an adult, because the opening becomes so big. As long as it's, you know, not, I mean, I wouldn't want them to read any old trash. I don't want them to read 50 Shades or anything like that. But I'm talking about if they're interested in reading something. No, It's not on the
It's not
shelves.
good.
But
It's
you know,
really not.
the point.
I'll
they're
read
not on the shelves.
everything, but
It's bad
not so
for
good.
Yeah. No, we don't want that. But you know what I'm saying. As long as they're academically able to understand what it says and emotionally able to understand what it says, then nothing should be off limits. Once they get to 11, 12, really, I think that's a really good age to just go freedom. Off you go. Go choose a book.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what I say. Annie, who's next, my love?
Let's try Coach
Coach
again.
David.
Coach,
Hi.
please unmute.
Yes, hello. I'm sorry I can't put on my video. How are you today? Paulette, thank you so
Well,
much.
I'm better, thank you.
Oh, get well soon, please, and take a lot of warm fluids.
Thank you. Thank you.
Annie, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the super work you do always. Joe, Coach K, Michelle, you guys rock, super awesome guys. Thank you, everyone, and thank you again, Annie. All right. A couple of years ago, a good friend of mine did an experiment with two other friends, and there was a toddler, a group of toddler babies, and they placed some items around these children. One of them was the Lego that moves and changes. The other one was a ball, just a very small ball. And it was amazing that each child repeatedly chose the same object repeatedly. Some children went towards the ball, and some children went towards the Lego. And it was amazing because it was repeated. For some were crying when you try to move them from the Lego towards the ball. And some were very iffy, itchy, was clearly uncomfortable. I think I think it was Michael who said earlier that it's about observation. They would naturally give us the language. They would let us know how they would like to be indoctrinated into the systems of the world. Our job is to maintain curiosity and open-mindedness, to look for non-verbal cues, signs of boredom, tiredness. We must find communication within those body language, and they will eventually let us know. The second thing I like to say is that because in their world, play is the theme. Every other thing is boring. They love to play. So we must institutionalize play into their reading habits. We must, in quotes, begin by play, which is their own familiar territory, and gradually win them into the logic and the reasoning. In fact, that's first assignment is to make sure they enjoy the entire idea of the book. I mean, the association of the book with the subconscious is a delicate programmed relationship. We will have to indoctrinate them and program them to love and to think it's fun. So we may use marshmallows, we may use that's programming them by the olfactory and I mean by the five senses. It must be fun all the way until they are comfortable and they are past the anxiety phase. When they are past that phase and they are now used to it, then we can now move to begin to remove or subtract the play elements gradually until it becomes a habit. Because our real assignment is to permit me to say habitify or give them new habits. And how to, energize habits is to supply a lot of play or a lot of the previous states and then gradually infuse the new state or the new program. And I'm using a lot of programming or personality psychology programming statements here because development psychology is an area, especially how do we learn and how do we get to the point where some people don't love learning. There is no one who is a subject, for example, mathematics, that a hypnotist was not involved, aka the mathematics teacher. People hated mathematics because there was a hypnotist in the math teacher who ensured that they didn't like the subject. And every time you see a subject you like, someone was the hypnotist who tried to move you in the direction of loving that particular subject. So our job and assignment is to encode the magicians, and I'm using these metaphors to help us see who make magic happen with the books. That's why we have to do all the acting, all the, everything necessary to ensure that play is associated with the book. When we've achieved that programming, we can now begin to go into the other dimensions. But that programming is our first assignment. One, to listen to them, to observe them, and listen to their minds, their preferences, their nuances. And then we go to trying to bed this new book culture. Because when we give them these habits, they would not recover from it. It's a very
Absolutely.
powerful, it's a very powerful thing. I was bedded into books by my parents, and that's a very amazing story. My dad bedded me into current affairs. At the age of 10, he will bring newspapers, and I must read four of the national dailies, and we must summarize it. I must read a chapter of the Proverbs every single day, and I'm going to tell him what I learned in it. My mom ensured I read storybooks, and a lot of them. From about the age of 7, 8, 9, I was totally a wreck. If what the mobile phone is today is what books were to me when I was growing up. So I was iffy itchy when my novels were not around me. I mean, I'm literally eating, and I have one spoon in my mouth, and I'm looking at the page. Now that happened with some deliberate programming. So that's loads of good conversations. And thank you for the super work you're doing,
I
Paulette.
love that. And
Thank you
Coach
so much.
David, I would like to say this to you. Just
Yeah,
one point that you brought up, which is so
yeah,
important. When I
yeah,
was doing the research for the bereavement story for our book, The Bantaless Breakfast, the
yeah.
reason it's called the Bantaless Breakfast, it sums it up. The Bantaless, there's no banter. The room is cold. The room is, there's no breakfast. There's
Mhm,
no activity. The radio's not on.
mhm,
We set a
mhm,
very different scene for the children
mhm.
when they start this book. It's
Yeah.
like, what's going on? What's it all about, you know? But by the end of the book, the final line is this: it's okay to feel sad, but it's also
Mm,
okay to be happy again. And
wow.
sometimes it even involves chips. And
Wow.
that's because they all end up having fish and chips at the end of the story about bereavement.
Oh,
And we were
oh,
told by, well, I was a bereavement counselor for years. But aside from that, the what we were told by the therapist, the counselor, psychotherapist was this: that yes, it's going to be a sad story, but you have to bring it back to they're allowed to laugh at a joke because they're a child and it's a funny joke. And you haven't got to say, oh, I can't laugh at that joke because my granddad died 3 weeks ago, you know? And
yeah.
it's not as a load, you're putting a heavy load on a child. So what you're
Wow.
saying is absolutely right. We show them, we teach them, we talk to them, but we also
Yeah,
make them understand that we can be okay again at the end of it. And that's the
absolutely.
key. And what you just said is
Absolutely.
exactly right. That's the
Exactly.
journey.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and you know
perfect.
that's a very powerful script right there, Paulette. That's a very powerful script right there. That there are moments of sadness in life, and they don't last forever. The sun will always shine again. Now that's meta programming that's useful, that would last throughout. And the amazing thing is that this programming,
Lifetime.
we have only 3 years to 4 years to do it, max 5 years. And there's a lot of
Yeah,
such programmings. We can program the souls. It's like programming a software of these future leaders. And then we can know from there that we've given the world um, leaders of tomorrow. We can hope for a more stable society. We can hope for surgeons who
absolutely.
will do big things. big things. We can hope for inventors, and it's a matter of this scripting. So this is more than just a book. This is really scripting the subconscious of the next generation using careful, deliberate wisdom. So I tell people that one of the first assignments of the leaders or the people who welcome these precious souls into the planet is scripting and sculpting their conscious possibilities, what their fears would look like, what their habits of the future will look like. Literally, we are writing letters to a future we might not see. And what you're discussing is big. That's resilience. You're actually scripting the child with resilience by narrating a story. So you're going to begin to deal with things like tantrums, anger, don't give up when something is not clear. Instead of making the instruction boring, we've turned it into a movie, into a story, and those are very powerful things. And I really think you should put together a masterclass on scripting the next generation, scripting the soul of the next generation. This is very powerful, and thank you for the great work you're doing. Thank you.
Perhaps we'll do it together. There we go, and we'll set a room up with Coach.
Collaborations, that was a good thing.
Absolutely.
The thing I would say, Coach likes to write 600-page books, Paulette. You know how much I hate those books, right? I don't like those books. So we might have to adapt to his way of doing things to write a book with Coach for sure. One of his books is going to be 200 pages. That's the one I'm interested in publishing.
Yeah.
They're too big. Let's welcome Worknesh. We'll talk later, Coach. Of course we will.
All right, thank you so much.
And then you met her, so now you can have a one-to-one and then explore the possibilities. Worknesh, welcome. Say Lama Banana, you're here. I don't know if I'm on. You are here.
You're on. Hello, sweetheart.
If you want the link to the studio, let me know. I'll send you the link.
I've seen it for ages.
Yeah, Dr. Marcia.
Dr. Marcia, thank you for coming.
I've missed anyone. There's many comments we're going to go through in a minute. Look, before we go on to our next two speakers.
Thank you. I'm sorry they were going, and I was so focused on what I'd written.
Yeah. No, so we've got Coach K. Is Coach K still here? Yeah, she's still here. And also Michelle. And Michelle was first, and then Coach K came after. Michelle fell off, and blah, blah, blah. Hoo-ha, right? Before all that, my friends, I want to show Paulette the video I've been dying to show for God knows how long, Michelle or Paulette. How long? We finally got the right video. So this is a video that Carol made for our latest Jack and Water book, New School Niggle. So have a watch. That way you get the idea. So and we are doing a prize draw, as we're saying. Basically, the first 3 educators, teachers who put in the comments that they want to be in the prize draw, we get the chance. Now, the first 3 will get the books for their school. So we're going to give you the full set, all 3 books, or Jack and Water books. And you do it as you wish, right? So now we'll buy it and send it to you, and then you can also distribute it to your school. That's our little bit to help in World Book Day, right? Okay, so let me show you the video so you know what we're talking about.
There is an updated video. It's another one since about the body bench, but I need to get that to you.
Yes. Yeah, we seem to have several videos for this book, right? And it's throwing us a bit. I've tried to show the video so many times. Ilana, I just sent you the link. Yes, the books are still on Amazon. You can buy them as a set. You can buy them individually. Of course, once you buy it, now the set instead. Of course, we do. Mr. Cyrus, and as Ilana says, love the music. You know, no, that wasn't Cyrus' music. That was Carol's music, wasn't it? But Cyrus has his song for this book as well.
You've got
Yes.
Cyrus's song, yeah.
Yeah, so people do love the music that you geniuses create. Coach loves to create videos. He loves to create videos for events. I'm like, Coach, stop doing it. No, keep doing it. Ignore me. I'm just a miserable git. That's what it is, right? You know, because I guess I like the videos of you saying, Paulette, come to my event. You know, rather than a glamorous story. Otherwise, I don't know why I just do, right? Ignore me. Anyway, look, we'll come back to the comments before we go for sure. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle, our resident therapist in the house. How you doing, Michelle? You're still muted, Michelle. Hopefully you're not talking. I don't want to talk to yourself. I never do, because we'll miss all the good things that you want to tell us. Michelle, unmute. Okay, let's go to Coach K while we wait for Michelle to unmute. Coach K, are you still there? Yeah, Coach K is still there.
I can see her. There she
Yeah.
is.
I had to get
Hello,
off the
lovely.
floor though. I'm like, I came home today and I'm like, I haven't been on LinkedIn in so long. I wonder if anybody has a show going on right now. And as soon as I logged on, you two popped up. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'm like, I finally caught her.
It's hard to find shows these days. You know, at least the events that are on there. I don't know how you're meant to find them. I don't know what LinkedIn has in mind or what they're doing, because
you guys were sitting right at my top. I'm like, it was so perfect. But about
serendipity.
Exactly, because I'm like, now I don't have to worry. I can take that one thing off my plate. I know that you're fine now.
Yeah, Coach would say it's a prophecy. You know, destiny is why you're here, right? Really.
Yeah, I needed it.
How are you doing? How's the world with you?
I miss having these conversations. I actually really miss you guys. Like, this is my first day back since my birthday when me and you were on here. I hadn't been on LinkedIn in some time. I try to check my DMs, but I have a lot of unread messages that I need to tend to as well. I've just been working and staying positive as much as humanly possible and trying to spread the love. But the question that you had about how do we get kids to read, was that the original question? Okay. So for me, since I don't have little kids anymore, and I'm with the kids at school most of the time, I just like the idea of making it fun because that's what's always made me an avid reader. Growing up in neighborhoods or in an environment where you don't really get to see your dreams even be lived out by other people, I believe that a book was my first getaway from where I actually grew up at, to show me that they are, a world bigger than the community that I know. And so I believe in making reading fun for kids. Another thing that I'm looking at doing with my my online kiddos that are in the Adventure Club is giving them highlights, because a few of them love to read and then a few of them actually don't know how to read, even in like 4th and 5th grade. And so by making reading fun and cool and rewarding them with maybe highlights on the YouTube channel where they get to read the books, I like the idea of that, because it's like now reading becomes cool because it's a marriage between what we really need to do and the technology that they love. These kids are not going to not watch YouTube. They're not going to unplug. The world is only going to become more futuristic. And so I came up with this idea of giving them the opportunity. And this way, if I'm not around, we're still able to virtually interact. And I'm able to still help them, because a lot of parents, when they get off work, they literally don't have time. When you're dealing with like kids from a certain economic background, most of these parents are already working 2 and 3 jobs. And so for me to be able to hold a virtual space very similar to this and allow them to read and be seen, a lot of these kids just want to be seen. And so I think that that's a really cool way of making it interesting for other kids, because now we can play around with flashcards online sometimes, and kids that can't read can start picking up words and seeing that they have an opportunity to get the spotlight. It encourages them to say, it is hard, but I want to do it anyway. Even if I have to memorize this book until I get it, it gives them something to push for that's completely obtainable. And us as adults, anybody can use the exact same concept for children in their life to give them, like a highlighted moment on their platform, so that they're like, hey, I'm cool. I can show my friends, like, look, guys, look at how cool reading is. And so that concept is something that I've been implementing, and that's working for me and the children that I have in my life. It's just making them the main character for it.
Do you have these 3 books, Coach K? And if not, would you like to have them online? We'll give them to you, we'll gift them to you, so that
I
your
know I
children can
have.
have them.
I think I just need 1 or 2. I got 1, whichever one was when you guys did the drop online that day. I have 1 in my thing. I
And
think
is that an online book? Yeah,
yes.
the
It's on.
download. Yeah, right.
Yes, I think I have the new
We'll
school
send the
day.
other 2.
Yeah, I'll
Right.
confirm
Well,
which
we'll
one I
send the other 2.
Perfect.
Right. You confirm. I will personally send you the other 2, so that
Okay.
your kiddos get to have access to all 3.
Yeah, and then I can let them read it, because I want to highlight them.
Yeah.
So anybody that has children's books that would like to send it, then I can have them read it. And some of my kids read in other languages, and so no, I realize kids learn from kids so much quicker, better, and faster. And so to let the kids promote your books, or promote, oh, and when I get a chance and figure out how to upload it, my kids made affirmations in 2nd languages for the adults. I asked them to make you guys something for the LinkedIn community. And so some of them are like speaking in Japanese or French, but they say the affirmation in English afterwards. And so I'm hoping to build a little bit of a bridge where they can send messages that I can show you guys, and you guys can have books or messages that I can continue to share with them.
I love that. Do you know, when my Polish sort of foster daughter got with an Egyptian guy, I was like, holy schmoly, is this going to work? Right? They've got 2 beautiful children, and they stand in front of me and they can count from 1 to 10. They do it on their fingers. Then they can do it in Polish, which of course I don't know what they're saying, but the mum's going, yep, that's right. And then they do it in Egypt in Arabic, and Ahmed says, yeah, that's right. So they're learning 3 languages, and they're
At one
3 and
time.
5. It's
The younger
unbelievable.
they are,
At
the
the same
faster they suck it
time.
up. They suck it up. My
Exactly
youngest,
that.
he
You're
went to an
spot on.
international school, and they started them in kindergarten, and he was picking up phrases in kindergarten so quickly. But something that I wanted to add really quick, that popped in my mind earlier, I think when I heard Coach David speaking, was that I wanted to say to parents that are newer to reading to their kids, because I know like there's a lot of new parents that may be watching this, and we were talking about how it helps with communication. For me, some of the books that I read to my boys, because I was always concerned about them being afraid to tell me certain things when they were younger. So I always wanted them to know that they could talk to me about anything. So I would read books, specifically about communication. And then before or after story time, just have casual talks with them about their day, so that they get in a place of being comfortable telling you things. not just basic communication, because if they get used to telling you what's going on with their day and they're used to you asking, you can save so many kids from inappropriate behaviors that could possibly be going on because they're just used to sharing with you. And so I wanted to encourage people to go beyond story time and use story time as a segue into real communication, so that these kids know that they have a safe place to go to and let whatever may be going on in their life out.
One of the key things in all of the books that we do, as you know, is we always talk about, talking to a trusted adult. If you've got something that's worrying you, talk to a trusted adult. And sometimes that isn't a parent because the parents are absent. Sometimes not, I don't just mean absent as in they're not there. They're just working 3 jobs. They're just trying to pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
So if there's somebody they talk to at school, the dinner lady, someone they feel really comfortable with about a problem, then that problem gets out of their rucksack of worries and onto the table to be addressed and dealt with. And to me, that is one of the most, if I only ever achieve that in my lifetime, my legacy will be to get people to talk and to open up. That would be my legacy done, because that is the most important singular thing for children, especially. There is so much out there now that wasn't when we were kids. That is dangerous. And so, yes, absolutely. Any means that provokes a conversation, that creates a space where children feel free to speak up. I 100% agree that it's that after the reading time, it's whilst you're relaxed, it's whilst you're feeling cozy together. That's a really great time to say, is everything okay? Is there anything you want to talk about? What's going on? With the school, ask questions. You don't have to be so direct where they feel like it's, 50 questions and I'm out of here. It's just starting a conversation for them to lead into something. Oh, well, guess what happened to X today? Or guess what happened to Y today? Or somebody got into trouble today. Not me, somebody. And well, what would you do if that happened to you? It's just starting that conversation. And we don't often have the time. And again, I'm not being in any way, shape, or form saying that anyone's doing it right or wrong, but I am just saying that we don't have the time to sit down always and have these conversations, but we must try to find the time, because it's paramount, especially in the current world that we live in. If there isn't that open line of communication, then all kinds of stuff can go past us. So thank you, Coach K, for bringing that up, because that's really important. And it is a message that I try really hard to say to every child I engage with. If you ever need to talk to somebody, there's always somebody. There always will be. And they feel like, yeah, someone's got my back, And whether it's the dinner lady, whether it's the person who serves the mashed potatoes, somebody will have your back. And that's all that matters. Back to you, Ernie.
Yeah, and that's I want to welcome. Have you welcomed Nicole? Oh, Nick, GBW.
I don't know. No. Hi, Nick. So good to see you back in action. But I'm losing it. It's crackly. I still got it.
Michelle, welcome as well. You're never late to our events.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're here. That's what matters to all of us, right? You're here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So Michelle is writing 4 books at once. I don't know how she does that. I wait to see what the books look like. Right? We just wait to see. Let's go to Michelle.
Do one at a time.
How are you doing, Michelle?
Right. Let's see. She's got voice on.
Is Michelle unmuted? Let me get
I
rid
don't know.
of
Try
that.
again.
Michelle, you have to unmute.
Come
You
on,
haven't
Michelle.
unmuted. We're a bit stuck. I just hope you're not sharing gems that you're not sharing with us. Michelle, come back. I'll DM you in a second. Let's talk to Banana. Yes, Banana, it's you. How are you doing, Ilana?
Wait, am I on mute or am I unmuted?
No, we can hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Yay! And hi. So I love.
I'm just telling Michelle to unmute. Hang on.
Okay.
Let me just do that quick. Right, there we go. Mwah. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello, darling. I will talk to you later. I am doing fine. And just so anyone who's on here, I had a business meeting for fashion. So I'm wearing a dress. I'm not strapless. I mean, I'm strapless, but I'm clothed. Can't help it. It's the truth. So just so you know, Paulette, you know that I love your books. And actually what's ironic, and you know I share them with kids, being a speech and language pathologist, but also kind of with Dude, who Dude at this point has 22. He's actually with a child's family, and the child is in remission right now. So I lent him out here in Florida because they need him, and that's key. But when Dude is sitting and all the kids sit around, I let them read your book. So I'll read it to them. And actually, whoever mentioned, and I'm so sorry, because I'm a little confused with this new setup, which I really don't like. Sorry. It's not on you guys, but I don't love the setup. Whenever, and this is just cognitively speaking, whenever any child, like adults, even with mnemonic devices, and you're teaching new words, even our ABCs, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. So when you put the two together with a song, it makes it so much more memorable than just like, what letter do we start with for boy? So, and again, animation. So like, I'll give you an example for Dude, who's a service animal who works with like pediatric oncology and ill kids. So the kids love to see him dance, even up to 13 years old. So I said, if you really want him to dance, you have to sing, shall we dance, cha-cha-cha, shall we dance, shall we dance, shall we dance, cha-cha-cha. And the kids love the song so much. And there are some kids who are not exposed to that, whether it's because they're from a different background. And then we do it in Hebrew, and then we do it in Spanish. So I love the idea of trilingual, or the more languages you could bring in, the better. And just remember, if they're delayed or have difficulties, one language is really pushed the most, because they really need one language that they can really grasp onto, with like having Spanglish, people compare it to. So, Paulette, I am ready to boom your books again, because actually this group of 17 last week have asked me for more of your books, and I do love reading with them. And if anyone can see, I'm in the middle of packing because I've been here for my parents in Florida, just because my mom wasn't feeling great and doing all remote work for New York. But I will be going back to the city, Paulette. So that's my plan. But I really, really, really appreciate Paulette and Michelle and everyone who adds in. I also have to say this, because I've said this to Paulette and then she doesn't. So, I'm going to like tear up. So in your book with Walter, I consider myself Walter. And you're like my GM, like you're who I go to, or my friends, or so when it's something about anxiety or something about learning something new or something about going to a different place, not only just like a different school, but for me, a different job, I think it applies. So when I've read it to even high schoolers, and I changed some of the verbiage just to make it like they're on their level, on their cognitive level, but it's me. So when I read it and I think of all of like the different things about entering a new place or something like that, I'm like, that's me. I don't fit in with everyone in Florida. Everyone is pretty much, we call it Florida, because it's slightly dull and boring. And that I will never be, but I'm here because I have a mom who's ill. So we do what we have to do. But all I can say is I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. First of all, I'm allowed to share it with the kids. I always add like a song to it because that motivates them. Also, because they see the goofiness in me and the sincerity in me, they will ask me questions. I don't, and I inform the parents after. And at the moment, this has actually made me very happy, happier than writing my own book. One of the kids who I've read to, she was writing a book on service animals and service animals' parents. And it was just published on her page. She dedicated to me. So I think to me that was like more important than writing a book. So that's all. So I really appreciate everyone who's on here, and I'll let you know, even if I don't show up, it's just because I'm going through how I'm supposed to be or where I'm supposed to be and making a decision of where to be. But yeah, I'm that Walter. All right. Thank you, everyone.
And you're my Walter as well.
Hold on. You're not going yet. We're not letting you off yet.
If you speak to Tanya, please tell her that I'm wearing her gook today.
I will tell her. Tanya should be here.
I want her to know that I'm wearing her gook, her eye stuff today.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. You made our day as always. Look, there's a question for you from Natalie. And for those in the studio, she says, please share your most amusing story about teaching your child to read and write and become verbose per this standard social contract. Do you have any funny stories that you want to share with us? I'll let you think about that for a second.
Oh, I could already give it to you.
What was I thinking? We're going to go through the comments before we go.
Oh.
But,
wait, is that for Paulette? I don't know. Am I supposed to?
Yeah, for everyone, for you. If you have a funny story of teaching a child to read.
If you've got a funny story, go for it.
Okay. So, funny story. I'm going to make it more appropriate. I'm going to try my best to make it appropriate. Okay. And
well, mine wasn't.
What? Oh, I didn't hear your. Okay. So
mine wasn't going to be, no.
So I'm working with some students who are from the DR, Dominican Republic. And also they're together with kids from Puerto Rico. And what they don't know is that I speak Spanish. So I take out a book and they say in like more Spanglish, ella sabe nada. Like she doesn't know it. Like she doesn't know anything. And I let them talk amongst themselves for like 5 minutes. And then I'm like, ay, palabras malas, porque yo entiendo. And they're hysterical. They said, ¿tú entiendes? I'm like, porque yo tengo familia de España. I have family in Spain. So I said, do you want me to do this lesson in English or do you want me to do it in Spanish? So you're all happy with my languages. And I will do a book called, I'm just going to flash this really quickly. Not myself. This I absolutely love for all kids. Wait, hold on. It's called The Big Orange Splat. And I don't know if other people, whatever. It's called The Big Orange Splat. And by far, except for, yay! Okay, Big Orange Splat. They're making fun of me in Spanish. They're making fun of me in English. And bottom line is that all of the wording in this is more, you'll see, is like more juvenile. Okay. And bottom line is that this man starts off with homes on a block that every house is the same. And I just want to show you first page. I'm moving. And I have to lick the thing. Sorry. Okay. So everyone has the same exact house, but they all look different. Anyway, they all look different. And over time, he explains to them, basically, bite me. My house is me and I am it. My house is filled with all of my dreams. Okay. And we do this also in Spanish. So one by one, the more people bother him to make his house look the same, the more he starts adding on things that are different. So by the end of the book, every house is different because their dreams are their own and it's everything that they want there to be. So even when I have kids, and by the way, they know that I'm cool because sometimes I'll do this, and for respectfully, I'll do this. I'm sorry, are you talking to me today? So I give it right back to them. So I become one of them, or I'll say, let's start the day with a little bit of a hip hop dance so they can relate to me. But it has become hysterical, especially because some of the verbiage I use with how they do the book and what they want to draw. I don't care if they draw like the Statue of Liberty that they want to live in, or they want to live in the Eiffel Tower. But it really becomes hysterical because I said, okay, now that you've drawn like this and show me what you want, everything in that, tell us why. Aren't you afraid of heights? Like, aren't you afraid it's going to crawl up and try to get you? Like, what's the deal? And who's going to get you your food? So it does. I would say most of my sessions are, I call myself not a teacher. I call myself a facilitator because kids learn by having fun. That's been proven. And along with music and along with
Definitely.
movement, that, and even like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. If kids have a problem processing like those 4 steps, it's hysterical. And I'll do it with them. I never have the kids just do it alone. I do it with them. If they're on the floor, I'm on the floor. If they're laying on a table, I'll lay on the table right next to them appropriately. So that's pretty much the funny story. If people walk in, they're like, what's going on? And then I'm thankful that there's a window. So everyone knows there's nothing inappropriate going on.
Look, I will say this, Ilana, before I give the mic to Paulette. There is something emotional about when someone puts your name in their book. I love seeing my name in their book. You haven't done it yet, Paulette. I'm still waiting. Hint, 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 hint. You know,
Yeah,
when anyone puts my name as part of the story, I'm just like, wow. I have to buy that book. I got 3 of them here, so.
Well, I will send you a copy when she has it. She's going to have hers published before mine, but she told me this weekend, and it really.
Well done, you. It shows that you're a star, but we know that.
But it's not.
We knew that.
But that's just it. I don't need that intention. Like,
no, but like, it goes down. It's a legacy. It goes down that you are as lovely as you are.
It's a lovely thing to do.
That people appreciate you.
And happy Tuesday.
My story is going to make Ilana laugh now. Right now, you're going to laugh.
Do you put me down?
Oh, it's Michelle back. Did you stay there? You just sit there.
Here.
You don't go anywhere. Oh, Michelle, quick, come on board.
Hi, I'm here. I'm just not feeling well, but I do want to chime in. Alana, it is so great to see you here. I miss you, honey. I've been thinking about you and sending you lots of energy. Please, please, please call me. We don't have to dance, but just call me.
I love dancing with you.
I know. It's good for us and good for our soul and the kids. And I love what you're saying. And I think this is such a great everything. And Paulette, you know how I feel about you. And if I don't talk to you regularly, I am not the same person. But I want to say that the kids, very importantly from the very beginning, I'm with them. Like, I am no different than them. I tell them my story and their eyes pop out of their head, which I love doing because they seem to be of the world, these teenagers. But they start asking questions and they feel safe and they start to be who they are, just like we do when we're around people that make us feel safe and trusting. We can feel that energetically even. So it's always about going in with love and being in that place. And what comes out of that's beautiful. And you don't have to try so hard just to believe in them for an hour. That's what I said. I didn't know what I was doing 3 years ago. I still don't. But I do know that it's magical what happens, like the woo-woo, right? So, I think that if we all realize that we're not so different and we've been there before and what they're feeling, what they're seeing, what I'm curious about, and they get to create and they're all happy about these kids are, round hole square peg. They should be doing a lot of different things, but they're actually wanting to do different awareness for other teens. And these, English is their second language and they don't care. It's really cool to see them grow. And it's just by, hey, I'm here with you. I'm not a teacher. I am a facilitator, and I'm not, and I'm here because I want to be, and this is who I am. And I, should be where you are now before in my life. Like, I go into my whole story as a child. So I just think it's very magical, and it's not that hard. It isn't that hard, right? But it's huge payoff. And I'm just really grateful and want to continue doing that on a very big level, one bite of an elephant at a time.
Thank you,
Yay.
darling. I really appreciate you. And
I don't know how to
look
feel
us
hard.
three
It's so
together.
hard.
Woohoo. I love
don't know how to
that.
feel
So
hard.
my funny story is I mentioned it earlier on today. Will make everybody laugh because it's so typical of Ben, but it's more of a story about the thing that Ben was very literal, which is very typical of autism, but he was incredibly literal, and he was top of his class, and the kids knew him as being really square and really clever and all these words they used to use. But come to PE, and they were doing high jump, and this teacher put 2 bars up on a metal bar across, and he asked them to throw themselves at this bar and jump over it. And Ben looked at the 2 metal bars and the bar in the middle and was like, why would I want to do that? Right? So the queue was lined up. Ben's position came to the front and he went round the back. He got to the end of the queue again, and they all jumped again. And it got to the end of the queue and it was Ben's go, and he went round again. And at the end of it, he hadn't jumped. So the teacher pulled him over and said, because they wouldn't upset Ben in the lesson, so they just said, why didn't you jump over? And he said, why do I want to jump over a metal bar? And the teacher said, well, it's called high jump. It's a thing. And he kept saying to Ben, it's a thing. And Ben was like, but I don't like your thing. And he was going, no, it's a thing. It's sports. This is what you do. Ben was like, I don't want to do your thing. And the teacher said, well, I think if you think about it, it's just going backwards over something and trusting yourself that you can do it. And he said, I believe in you. And Ben was like, I don't think I want to do it. So the teacher said, well, you're going to have to do it because I can't pass your badge to say you've done all these things in athletics if you don't go over the bar. So anyway, he came home and we discussed it. And he said to me, who invented this? And I said, well, I don't know, darling. I don't understand why high jump was invented. But Mum, we should know why. There must be a reason. Were they trying to get away from something? Or I said, I don't know why. He said, but why would somebody want to throw themselves backwards over a bar of metal? And I was like, I don't know. So how about we look it up? And of course we look it up, and it's a sport, and it's of the athletics, and it's Olympic sport, and it's all these things. And Ben's reading this and he's going, it's a sport. Throwing yourself over a piece of metal is a sport. And then I had to show him what, hurdles were. And you've got all these things to look forward to when you went to the senior school. And he just looked at me as if to say, you're all mad. Why do you want to do these things? So anyway, long story short, I said to him, if you don't give it a go, you'll never know. So just try it. Do it once. If you don't get over the top, who cares? But then at least you can say you tried. So the following lesson came round, and it was Ben's turn. And they asked them to get in line, and Ben went first. And everyone was a bit sort of like, what the heck's got into Ben? He was the guy that was running last week. So Ben was at the front of the queue, and he went, and he knocked it over and went backwards. But he did it. And the teacher said, well, better luck next time, Ben. So Ben went and stood and said, can I have another go? And the teacher went, yeah, sure you can. So he threw himself over and he got over it. And the whole class cheered and they were really pleased for him. And then he stood next to the teacher and he said, Now I've done this. Please don't ever ask me to throw myself over that stupid piece of metal again. It's pointless. The teacher was just dying. He just literally was like holding his hand up, trying not to laugh in front of the other kids. Okay, carry on with the line. You know, everybody else carry on. Ben, you just stand here and you go down the arm. You can help me put it up for the other children to go over the top of. And Ben was the one that moved it up for the other kids. He never went over it again. That was it. One attempt at a high jump, never again. But that was the way we learned. We learned by him trusting me that it wouldn't matter if it went down. It didn't matter if the bar fell. But if you tried, at least you showed that you could do it. If you never try, you'll never know. And that was the learning that he believed in me from books. He learned from books. That trust came from books. And from being an amazing mother, of course, but I'll just say that. But no, in all seriousness, it is about trust. And, you know, trusting to yourself to throw yourself backwards over a bar of metal for Ben was like, oh, why would you do that, right? And when you look at it from a child's perspective, it does sound like a bit of an odd and crazy thing to do, right? But I never thought of it like that until Ben did, you know? What do you say to that, Annie? What do you think about throwing yourself backwards over a bar of metal?
Unless you're Dick Frosby, who invented the backward flip thing. Yeah,
Frisbee flop or whatever it was called.
Yeah, the Frosby flop, they call it these days, isn't it?
Oh,
I'm saying there's a story behind everything, and I'm glad Ben persisted. And what's the reason? Go on, Lana, please.
If I was Ben, just because you know that I'm smart and sassy with a little smart assy, I would have said, why did we just do that? Like, since you said he asked questions, like, what did I prove with, and we have pole jointing, like pole vaulting here, and that's a sport. But like, I'm sorry, why did we just do that? Like, that would have been like, what am I going to use this during a fire drill? Am I going to use this like as a doctor? Like, okay, I'm glad that I was able to do it because I succeeded, but what am I going to use it for? Because I like to have, you know, relevance, but I would have loved for him to say why. And now I'm really muted.
He just could not get. And the teacher phoned me and said, like, I was trying not to laugh the whole lesson. I was watching Ben putting up higher and looking at the other kids thinking, are you really going to keep doing this? Are you seriously going to keep doing this? You know, why? You know, what's the benefit of doing it? And, you know, the teacher could see what Ben was saying. You know, they have to do it to tick a box. But it was just the way that he saw it as, but why? Why would you throw yourself backwards over a piece of metal? But the fact that he had the ability to believe in himself enough to talk to me about it and ask me has all come and all stemmed from the word trust. And you get trust when you are intrinsically involved in your child's life. And one way you become intrinsically involved in your child's life is through reading and being in their lives and being present. So I just wanted to reiterate that was, you know, it was a funny story that came up earlier. And I just thought I'm going to mention that if I get the opportunity. And you gave it to me, Annie. So thank you for that. So I'm on my third cup of coffee. I should be whizzing, shouldn't I?
About to whiz to the end.
Annie, you're on mute.
No, I'm all right now. Let's go through the comments quickly as best we can.
Please, yes, because I don't want to miss it.
We're about to miss some of them, but let's say I'll try and go for the main ones. Well, great to see you again. Hope you're feeling well. Yes, she's feeling better. This is as good as she's been for a while. So, happy days is what I say. Natalie says, Annie, how did you show your children were literate? We taught them how to read, I suppose. And the older two, the youngest obviously is more in my brain than the older two. The other two in their 30s, 15-year-old. So did what you read books to kids? Mum's quite good. Mum was quite good. And I did some reading. So, but I think watching us read. So doing what we do. Part of what we do these days is less manual labor and more desk work, which involves reading. So my son, of course, I'm publishing books as well. My son knows that books are an important thing. He's the only one that buys all our books, apart from Paulette and me. He's the only one that buys all the ebooks that we publish, all of them. And so he knows that books are important. Does he read them? Not enough for my liking, but what can I say, right? He reads what he has to. It's that funny age, I think. Well, I don't know whether they want more fun or whether it's that game against the computer games that we're fighting with Paulette. The gadgets versus reading books. But he's got his exams, so he suddenly has to read loads. Good, is what I say to him. Enjoy it. Now let's hope it works. And Adrian, reading keeps the lines of communication open for sure. I think you said that earlier, Paulette.
Absolutely, it does. Thank you, Adrienne, for that comment. Margaret says reading is the beginning of speaking and everything follows. Absolutely.
Yeah, Toulouse, welcome back. You sound so good. She did sound terrible before, I agree.
Toulouse, thank you.
Sounded like I called her many names in the last couple of months. Scary Betty.
You have.
Scary Squeaky Betty. Poor boys had to say now. If Cyrus was laughing earlier, I've laughed a lot more than you, Cyrus. I've laughed at Paulette's misfortune.
The worst one was when he called me the kettle because he could hear the wheeze. He could hear the whistle. It's like talking to you. What's that noise? It's my chest. I was wheezing.
It has been funny, We had this earlier to the tantrum. There's another one. As Natalie says,
absolutely true. Yes.
No, imagine learning no. Kids, what's wrong with you? It's a biological malfunction. No, the misdesign is what we call it, right? That's so Deborah says the word of school teaches you an entire sentence and its intent and not the individual words. Very powerful. No, there's different ways that kids learn. I think going back to Natalie's question just now. What's the other one here, Paulette? Montessori? There's phonics.
Montessori,
there's Montessori. Yeah. Ilana, I can see you dying, Ilana. You're dying. Go on, please. You have the mic.
Tolu.
Yes.
Not to you, Annie. I love you appropriately. But wait, Tolu asked a question. She said, how about kids who are throwing tantrums, which I've had, and they wear helmets so they don't hurt themselves because they're so frustrated because they can't communicate. Oh my gosh, those are the kids that I love. Right? Because you're going to help them, whether it's through sign language, whether it's through doing a PECS communication board. You find out what they can do, like in a field of two. Can you pick this? Can you pick a car or an open-ended sentence? I'm going to drive in a. And if they're really, really low, it doesn't matter. You could take out those bubbles and just pop, 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 pop. You just make it fun so it's interactive. But I think visuals, tactile, smells, especially with kids on the spectrum, I love them because I consider them to be like my biggest challenge. And I find that before I teach them, they teach me. So those are the kids who I completely understand. And if they're frustrated, you could go into one of the gym rooms because a lot of times they crave vestibular stimulation. So movement and speech go together. It doesn't have to be a word, but it could be wah or like wee or more. So I love when autistic kids, wherever they're on the spectrum, it is completely Tolu. I thought that was an awesome question. But pictures and movement and all of that is, people look at pictures even first, then last. Pictures with everything, with reading books and I needed those growing up. So when I see kids being able to sequence when they move and then they do it also, it's considered like even a 3-step sentence, even if they're not fully doing it. Oh, also, just so you know, if you're in the same mirror, not across from each other, but with an autistic child or anyone on the spectrum, if you're across from them, you're not in their plane, you're not in their space. If you're next to them, you're in their space. So they deem you, they see you as part of their community, not across from them, but next to them. And that's, yeah, Tolu. And again, they learn to trust you with time. And if the kids wear a helmet, I have a pink helmet with an E on the front and it's pink. So that way they don't feel any different. But I love that question. And okay.
And it's absolutely right. Meeting them where they're at with what they've got and what they can do. And that has to be the way it is. You know, you meet them, don't you, with where they are, with what they can do and what they can't do. You never pressure. A sausage went for a walk. She knew every page. I would not let you skip any of that. I know that one. She would grab the book at 8 months, flop the pages and blabber to herself. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. And the more that you do these things, the repetition creates interest.
For sure.
Natasha Bonzu says, hi, everyone. This has been very informative. I have children and reading help with routine, quality time and phonics. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. The gift of reading is a gift indeed. It's not only for educational purpose, but also for bonding time. Adrienne, you're so spot on. It's one of the best times of the day in the evening.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Aesop's Fables, yes.
You don't remember, I've never heard of, but you're a children's book writer, so
I know those ones, yeah.
I have to go and look at them to learn something. Right, Natalie.
A little engine that could. Fantastic Mr. Fox, that's a great one. Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. The Cat in the Hat, we've had that. Bear in the Big Blue House was Ben's favourite. And the Tweenies, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Bear in the Big Blue House was that there was a bear that sang opera. No, there was I think it was a raccoon or something that sang opera. And now Ben sings opera. Who'd have known, eh?
Wow.
But yeah, he loved it. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nat. That's exactly what it is. And Adrienne's saying the same thing. They stimulate child creativity. Absolutely. Yeah. the Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah, you know what? The amount of times I've had Ben had 1,000 facts about the moon, 1,000 facts about stars, 1,000 facts about this. And he would just sit there and read these fact books. And I would say to him, how about this? Or how about that? No, and then eventually he moved on from fact books too. But it was absorption. That's why he's so good in a quiz, because he knows it all, because he retains it all.
That's why I'm not so good. I don't learn any of them. I just let them go. I'm far too busy in my head. So I put credit to the video creator and the authoress and the other authoress. You're not an author, Paulette. Let's not argue about that. Let's let it go. No, apparently. Yes, and they make reading fun, something they can enjoy.
I'm just an author.
Rather than having to think, of it as a chore. That's a challenge, right?
We don't want them to
enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because reading is
seeing you makes a difference.
Yeah. No, thank you, Cyrus. Glad you're here. Of course, Dr. Marcia, Michelle. No, I showed that earlier. Sorry, Michelle. Probably only a couple more comments to go. I say only a couple more, then suddenly there's more, Paulette. But we're doing well, though. So Carrie, you've joined us. Linda, you joined us as well.
I was talking about you earlier,
Yeah.
Linda Meyer. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
Carrie, what Carrie's jokes of the day? Yeah. It always makes me chuckle. I try and work out the answers. I never do. I never do. Oh, Christiana, you're here as well.
I like when may the fourth be with you.
Yes. Welcome. Look,
Hi,
Paulette, you've done well.
Christiana.
You've lasted nearly 2 hours, Paulette.
Have I?
Yeah. Yes. But we did need to go. I'm trying to
Not
think
without my lovely guests.
Right. So have we given away any of our book series for the children, the people who work in schools yet? Yes, we're going to check the comments. Right?
I got two teachers so far, but listen, I in the UK we're going to give away a bunch, and we'll give away a bunch in the US as soon as I know where. Just let me know. Obviously, Alana, put your name down. We'll send some books to you.
No, you're not. Sending is too pricey right now. I'm going to send. I have seven from Amazon. So then I pass them to the schools that I know are approved by curriculum. So Amazon is much less expensive than you sending them.
Oh, whoa, no.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
We can order author copies, Ilana.
We can order author copies. I can do it now. There is a way, honestly.
Are they ordered already?
We can talk about that later, honestly.
Yeah.
We can do something.
Drink the tea, Paulette.
Coffee is what she drinks. She's a coffee head. Don't know why. Look, if you want
lemon and ginger and honey. I'm an addict.
If you can get our books to more schools, look, and the only thing I would ask of you, please, for those who do get the books to give out, is give us something, a picture, give us a video. Give us something. Someone say thank you, Paulette. I just like, I like people to say something, so we can do a post ID.
I could definitely do a thank you for a bunch of the kids. Like I mentioned, the 17 kids who love. Some of the parents are really concerned in terms of FERPA and HIPAA with their kids being on any type of social media. So, I can smush out their faces with the lines.
Yeah. No, maybe it's not the kids we want to know. The adults who are receiving the book from you.
I've done that.
Yes, excellent. Yeah. No, you're a hero. You're a star. That's why we love you so much. You keep doing that.
She is Walter.
Yes,
she's the conscious mind. She's the serious thinking mind.
She is.
That's our Ilana.
Now we can see her rather than just hearing her, and I say that's a different feeling completely.
I know. I get to see her.
Yes, thank you for joining us as always. So reading is one of the most essential habits.
Absolutely.
We agree with that. Dr. CJ says, you've inspired me to possibly get Cheerio in children's books. Yes, you should. It's anyone who can...
Yes, absolutely. I'd love that. Cheerio's own children's book series. Oh my gosh. Yes. 100%. Cheerio is the funniest dog and the loveliest dog. It's got a heart as big as his body, and his body is big body. It's all heart.
Talking about Cheerio, I mean, you've seen those books where you can put your kid's name in the book, right?
Yeah.
I think they're quite engaging. They're engaging for kids anyway.
Yeah, Ben had one. He was a pirate called Ben, and as it went through the book, his name kept appearing. But there was Ben 10. If you remember Ben 10, the children's cartoon.
I spent a lot of money
Ben thought that was him. Yeah, well, Ben thought that was him. He thought I'd done that for him. And it was like, it was nothing to do with me. But then in the end, I just gave up and said, yeah, it was all for you.
Take the credit. Why not? Why not?
I've never lied to my son except for, well, a few things. But most of the time, I never lied to my son. But yeah, certainly Ben 10 wasn't one of those that was, he thought it was all for him.
Yes.
But yeah, Cheerio in a children's book, amazing.
Yeah, now Paulette shows are the best. They really are. Apart from my next one, which is talking about whether we need to have the craftsman's mindset or the passion mindset. If you don't know what I mean,
Passion.
come and join us.
It's always passion.
Are you gonna follow your passion, or are you gonna follow your be a craftsman to achieve your bold idea?
Passion.
And join us. Paul, I'll
Passion
send you
brings
the link.
happiness.
Let's
I
talk
haven't got
about
any
it.
voice left, but if you want me to, I will.
You were talking a lot less. You get your 2 minutes, Paulette. Well, maybe a bit more, but you get 2 minutes, right? Spearmint tea, says Natalie. It's a great for mild numbing effect on your throat, Paulette. Yes. I have no such ideas. Just keep drinking tea. Whatever tea always helps, right? You know,
I don't know if they. Oh, I don't know if they have. I don't know if they have this overseas. We have something called Mad Libs, and they come in all different ages. Oh my gosh, noun, verb, adjective. So we would say to a group of older kids would be hysterical with what they put in. So like it's a story, but they don't know what's gonna go on. And so I could say it's a day at the beach. Okay, day at the beach. So, but then I say, okay, Charlie, give me a noun. He'll say shovel. The next kid, I'll say, okay, give me an adjective. And he'll say stinky. Okay, so you go throughout this entire story. And then at the end, you read it. And it also shows group story time. And I used to type them up for the kids. And it would be hilarious. So all of their words, whether it's a noun, an adjective, a verb, they see how it all comes together. And the story can make a complete turn. But Mad Libs, if you look them up, and even Paulette, because your package, I know it's coming, but they are the best things ever if you're teaching the kids the parts of the speech. And they come with pictures also. But I still love them. They crack me up.
I'll
some
see
kids
if I can get them on Amazon if I can.
Funny.
Do you think they'll be on Amazon? I'll have a look.
All different age groups and cognitive levels.
I'll have a look. Be brilliant. Well worth knowing. Thank you. But listen, guys, it's been absolutely amazing. I am waning. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I think I might have had enough onion and honey. Oh my gosh, someone's telling me to onion and honey. That's scary. Onion and honey. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate that. It's really all about, just for me, if we can teach children to enjoy books, we are going to be changing their future trajectory. Because when they have to read because it's schoolwork, when they have to read because it's university work or manuals for running machinery or whatever, it's a life-changing moment. It's life-changing. Books and reading are the best gift you can give somebody. So if you can give it, please do. And we're trying to give away books. So please, if you want books, let us know and we'll let you know and we'll get them out to you, because it's really important we get the books in the hands of the right people. We're donating to all the libraries in Cambridgeshire. We're donating to all the local schools. So we're only giving the one, which is we're giving the New School Niggles, but it's a start, and we hope then the libraries will buy the others. But we need them to see the books, to read the books, to know what they're about. It's so hard without millions and millions of pounds of promotional backing to get your books out there. So this is a really good way of getting them into the libraries, which will get them into children's hands, and the school libraries, get them into children's hands. So that's the plan. We've got the envelopes, we've got the stamps. We just had to have the me, and I wasn't there, but I'm fighting back. I'm coming back. So I shall let, between now and the next room, I promise you we've got a load of books out, because I'm going to get, me and my husband are going to do it. So that's the plan. So thank you so much, everybody. I really would like to thank Annie. Thank you, Annie. I will put any thank yous in my next book. Many of
No,
them.
make,
There'll
make,
be
make me one of
many
the
thank yous.
characters. I want to be one of the characters for that. I want to be a character. I want to be a good one though. Not a
A
big
good
evil
one.
one. Yeah, a good one.
Would you like to be a teacher? You could be a teacher.
I don't
Annie
know
the
what.
teacher.
Just saying my name will make me have
It'd
to
be a
smile at
nightmare.
everyone. You're making me
You
laugh.
just sit there. I'll have you sitting there eating peanuts all day.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I
Annie
mean
the
with my
guidance
peanuts.
counselor.
There we go.
Annie the guidance counselor.
Say it again. A
Annie
guidance
the guidance
counselor.
counselor.
Oh,
Oh my
stop it.
gosh.
Stop
Annie
it.
the
You know.
guidance
Yeah,
counselor.
don't tempt her anymore. Than she, let her figure out where to, where and how. I'm excited to find out.
No,
Paulette.
I'm
So
going to
thank you
call the
so much.
book Annie's
Yeah.
Lost His Nuts. Where could they be?
Look at it,
Annie's
Lana.
lost his nuts.
Too
Annie,
many ways to
Annie
interpret
found his
that.
nuts.
Oh, too many ways
Stop
to
it.
interpret. Oh my
Stop
God.
it. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, this is okay.
Can we help Annie find his nuts? Come on, children.
Big paper Rob. I'm ignoring that, Paulette.
And then
Honestly.
Alana will be saying to me, in the most appropriate way, I have to put in there.
Yes. Look, guys. The educators today.
Right.
That
Take
you
care,
say,
everybody. Thank
you
you.
can have the 3-book set. So do put in the comments if you want the 3-book set to give to children, schools. The simple
Your
strategy
local
for it.
library, schools, teachers.
The more kids want to read the books, right? So we know we'd love for you to help us get more kids to see this book, especially in this week, this World Reading
I
Week.
just want their hands, or online, if downloads, if that's better.
Yes, join us again in
Right.
2 weeks' time. And next week is our mental health, our mental wellness cafe. If Paulette is still working there, walking. No, please, no. Honestly, that was Christiana. I'm sure the evil one. Look, we're going to end, and I'm going to say thank you so much. We're going to go in the comments and respond to you. The comments there. Please do the same. Go to the comments and see who you want to connect with. Connect with people and also engage the conversations. So you can join my next
But
room.
thank you to each and every single person who showed up.
So join my next room. Let's talk about this craftsman's mentality over the passion mentality.
And just thank you for letting me speak also, because Annie, I'm sure you will find your nuts at some point. I need that humor. I mean, but just
I've got my nuts. My nuts are here. They live with me all day, every day. I can't not have my nuts. They're there.
But thank you for letting me come. And actually, this is laughter is the best medicine ever, especially when you're feeling anxious and panicked. So yeah, that was a great ending. So
let's end it there while we're still laughing. Thank you so much for being here as well. For sure. Bye everyone. Bye. Global.Media.com and celebrate it with the without champagne or rum. Achieve success with Global.Media.